Tell us about casting Insanity.
Okay. Whenever I started the script, I had 3 of them cast. My fault. I did not know who was going to play Raven at the time of whenever I wrote the script. I had me as myself playing Luke. I had Mills playing Jeff, and then I had I written in Jay Woolley to play Clay's part. I bet you didn't know that, did you? But
second string.
Yep. And so I wrote it for Jake, and then I found out, getting closer to filming dates, that Jay wasn't going to be able to be there for most of the filming. So I was like, I'm freaking out now because we have all these other people cast and ready to go, and we have filming dates that we already have set up. And so I was like, who else could we get? And then I was like, who? And then Heather was like, well, what about Clay? And I was like, we had filmed one scene on Jackson Brooks with him. And I was like, and I mean, it was kind of funny, and it was a cool fight scene and everything. I was like, dude, that's Clay. And this character is like the meanest guy you've come across. I mean, we grew up together, so I mean, I know this guy like my backhand. I don't know it very well though. But, so she was like, just pick him. So I had Clay call me the night before we started shooting, and we talked, and then the next day of filming, like, we talked a little bit more about his character, and then all of a sudden, we started filming. I was like, this dude can act. And the other cast came up and they were like, Clay, how long have you been acting? He was like,
This is my second go.
yeah. So I mean,
the last thing I was in, I got killed like within 5 minutes.
Exactly. So I mean, he shocked me. This guy shocked me, and
Magic.
yeah, that's what happened. And then Jay Woolley got the perfect part for him.
Oh yeah.
As the SWAT member, as like the SWAT team leader, and so I mean, he's just amazing. Jake is, and so because I worked with Jake back in the day on All or Nothing, and so Heather had like all of her acting friends that she acted with back in the day, and so I was like, let's just use them, and she was like, you can trust these people, and they did phenomenal. I mean, Jay, oh my gosh, in the first like 15 minutes of the film, Jay is in it, like a good bit, and like he kills the scene.
I was ready to surrender, and we weren't even ready to rob in the bank.
Exactly. And I mean, of course, Heather does like an awesome job. I mean, they hit the drama head on. Our characters were a little bit more crazy than just drama. I mean, we did some pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, it just kind of took time to figure out what the characters were.
Yeah.
And who they were, to define them.
Clay, especially now that you know you were second string, how do you feel about making your film debut?
No, it was cool. It was really cool because, like he said, I did Jackson Brooks, and it was fun. We had a lot of fun. I was only there for 1 day, but I just got to, I don't know. You know, as a kid, you always want to do, like, you always want to be an action movie type of thing, and so it was a lot of fun because I got to do all the things that I wouldn't do in normal life, like smoke and drink and kill people. And so really, I just got to do that as myself. I don't know if I really acted very much, but I just did that as myself. So I guess I got out a lot of stuff that I would never get to do.
So you, if you were a criminal, was basically
exactly what you would see.
Nice. Well, Craig, what was your favorite scene to direct?
My favorite one has to be the first scene that you get introduced to Jay, to his character. I mean, it was over at Clay's house, and I was just sitting on the couch the entire time filming, and like, it was the most comfortable. We had the lights dimmed down and everything, and it was just like, and I mean, Heather and Jay was just like going crazy with their acting, and it like shows on the movie. Okay. That's what it is.
Nice. So it was a mixture of the comfort and the artistic elements to that you enjoyed.
Definitely.
Okay. Well, what was your favorite scene to be in? What was your favorite scene in the movie?
Favorite scene to be in. I don't know. Probably the scene where the one hostage is taken outside. I don't remember. All I remember is I got to kick down the door and I got to hold the gun to her head the whole time, and I felt like the man.
So again, things that you don't get to do in
Exactly,
real life.
things I don't get to do in real life.
All right. Question for both of you. We'll go with Clay first. What was it like to play such an insane character?
It was crazy. It was weird. I mean, like I said, for the most part, I didn't feel like I did much acting, especially the scene where all of the robbers are at the dinner table. I was really just cutting up on purpose and trying to make people laugh on camera. And then I know we got some footage where people were holding it together pretty well, so I don't know if some of that made it into the movie, which was fun. That stuff was pretty easy, but there was the one scene, it was actually the scene that I wrote in the bank where I'm talking to the hostages, and I think that's probably my craziest moment that you see on camera. That was tough, because that is not me, and getting up in people's faces, and you know, it was crazy, and really having to channel some sort of weird kind of insane emotion where, you know, killing people and robbing banks and, you know, all this stuff is rational. It's kind of a challenge, but it was fun.
All right, Craig.
Well, like, I've already done a couple of short films and everything in the past, and my last movie that we shot, that we finished and everything, I was the good guy in it, and Zach was the bad guy. So I mean, he was the sadistic one, and I was the hero. And I mean, we still tore people to pieces in that film. I mean, we cut off heads and we did all that, but I mean,
it was heroic.
It was very heroic and everything. So with this one, whenever I started, I mean, alright, so I knew that this movie had to have a gritty feel to it. And I knew we just had to be almost just nasty people. And it got turned into a little bit more of a drama than just more of a sadistic film as I wanted. But it really was for the better for this film because of all these stuff that had already gotten cut. If that stuff had gotten cut and then all of a sudden we were acting this way, it would have been
It wouldn't have made sense.
Exactly. I had to listen to 2 songs before I filmed each day to get me in that state of mind of just a pothead and someone who does not give a rip about killing somebody. And the first real dialogue scene that I shot was with one of the hostages, and it took me about 10 minutes to get ready for this one scene. And I was just by myself, outside. And then I came in and I looked in the mirror and I started doing my lines. And I was like, I gotta hit this straight on, or this is gonna be the funniest scene. And I mean, if you know me, it's already kind of funny because of how I go. But that's one of the only scenes, or the scene that sticks out to me where I don't break character, is that scene. That's Luke going full force in the movie. And I felt so awful after I shot that scene. And I mean,
it's creepy.
Yeah.
What's it like to work with Craig, since he's clearly absolutely crazy?
It was fun. It was entertaining, really, just to see the way Craig interacts with Zach and Matthew. It's very sarcastic on set, which is good for me. I'm comfortable with that. But it was just really funny. But at the same time, there was a good mixture too, of scenes that were fun to shoot, and it was playful. But it would come to points to, okay, we gotta get in there and we gotta get stuff done. So we had fun, but I think we did a lot of work, and you can tell Craig knows what he's doing. Craig, has a good idea and a good vision, which is hard, especially when you have cast members that don't show up, and then you find out you have restrictions day of shooting. So it was good. It was a good experience.